Welcome to Local Edition. I'm Tracy Young. As recently as a year ago, the price of a barrel of crude oil was trading at $74 per barrel. But by May of 2008, it had risen to $135. And joining us to talk about the steps that Congress is undertaking to address this rapid rise is Congressman David Dreier, who represents the 26th District.
Always good to be with you, Tracy. Thanks
for
very much.
joining us.
Let me first express my appreciation. We've just gone through an election here in California, and I want to thank the voters and say that I'm going to continue to fight hard against those bums who are trying to do us in back in Washington and increase taxes and gasoline prices and everything. So
You've got a big job ahead of you then, don't you?
Yeah, we do, but thanks very much.
Let's address something very important here, because this is not just affecting individuals, it's affecting businesses, it's affecting us in so many different levels. Why such the quick rise? As I was saying, we went from 74 to 135 basically in what year? What do you attribute that rapid rise?
Well, first you make a great point when you say that it's not just individuals, but at the end of the day it's all individuals. But because of the increase in airline costs and trucking, individuals shoulder the burden for all of this, increased grocery bills. And it's just absolutely terrible. What we've seen is we've seen a dramatic increase in demand all over the world. China, India, thriving economies, and they're consuming. And unfortunately, we have not, Tracy, increased supply. That is the single most important thing to do. Now, we in Congress, I'm happy to say, in a bipartisan way, we came together to do something that I think was very important. 70,000 barrels a day have gone into the Strategic Petroleum Reserve in Louisiana. And we said, my gosh, there's an ample supply there.
Should you be filling at 135
yes,
is the other question.
That's exactly right. And so what we decided is, and we had, again, a bipartisan, Democrats and Republicans came together, and the President signed this bill. We have frozen the release of those 70,000. What it does is it basically says we know that increasing the supply will actually bring prices down. And so
Econ 101?
Yeah, exactly. And so there are a lot of other things that we need to do to increase supply. You know, we have right now in the United States of America alone, I mean, frankly, I hate the fact that we are being held hostage by Hugo Chavez in Venezuela and all of those Arab sheikhs. What we need to do is we need to create energy security in this country. Conservation, all of those things, alternative sources are very important, but we also need to, in an environmentally sound way, explore things like ANWR. Right now, 57% of the American people, Tracy, say that if we were to explore ANWR, we can do it and we can have a huge
But we tried
surge.
that, sir, and I know that it has been rejected on a number of occasions.
But you know what? Today is, you know what? When it was rejected, it was probably when it was $74 a barrel. Now, at between $125 and $135
People might have
a
a
barrel.
different opinion.
Well, that's what's happened. Is the number has gone way up in support for doing it in an environmentally sound way. And the point that I like to make is, it's not going to be big oil derricks like you saw in the movie Giant. What we've got is we got 21st century technology that will not hurt the environment.
Right. I recently read something I found interesting, too, that I think a lot of us had forgotten is a lot of those countries that are oil producers themselves, like Saudi Arabia, they've seen their economies expand, and they're starting to want to send out less of their oil because they're finding they need it also. So I think we've all forgotten that. But
and that plays a role in increasing prices
absolutely.
as well.
So let's go back to something. What really can we do? Because in the very short term, which I'm going to define as, say, a year or less, what can be done in a year or less?
Well, we've taken this step on the Strategic Petroleum Reserve, but immediately what we should do is we should start permitting new refineries. It's been 30 years since a new refinery was built in this country. It's been 30 years since a nuclear power plant was built in this country. It's the cleanest, safest, most cost-effective energy source. And the French have for decades had 80% of their energy coming from nuclear. So we need to pursue those alternatives.
But that won't affect the price today.
Well, but you know what? Again, we've done this with the Strategic Petroleum Reserve. I'm a supporter of actually waiving for a temporary period of time the gasoline tax so that our people can immediately see the gasoline price come down.
Do you think any of the things that Congress recently passed, like the Enron loophole, and there's been some talk of suing OPEC because they may be actually kind of controlling the price, do those make any sense?
Well, I hate to tell you, Congress has stood in the way in increasing the supply. And while they've talked, I mean, Nancy Pelosi said 2 years ago that she had a strategic plan that would bring down skyrocketing gasoline prices. And unfortunately, we've seen them go up since that time. We need to come together in a bipartisan way and address it now.
All right, get to work. All righty.
Yes,
Thank you for your time, sir. We'll be watching.